VO in Stereo is sponsored by Bodalgo, international voice acting platform. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to VO in Stereo. I'm not even going to say we have a very special guest. It's beyond that this time. I don't have time to go through all of her accolades. She's an American voice actor and on-screen television actress. She just happens to be the vice president of SOVAS and is the author of such books as Secret of My Voiceover Success and a champion to many other causes, including Alzheimer's. Please help me welcome living legend, JOAN BAKER.
Wait, Jared, Steven, let me tell you something about that intro. Work it, brother. Work it, brother. That was special. Thank you.
Special. I'm in shock that you are here. I'm in disbelief. And through everything we've already been through together, we are new family. This is exciting.
Yeah, we're bonded. We are bonded now.
We've had so much happen. So much happened since yesterday.
So I'm gonna
Hi, Steven.
Yes. But thank you so much for blessing us with your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for blessing me with your time.
Anytime.
Yes, thanks.
That's a fact.
Anytime.
Especially since you don't know our silly asses. So that's let's begin to know each other.
Let's have at it.
Let's have at it.
Yeah.
So my first question is always the same question I ask everybody. It's a great starting question is where did you grow up?
I was brought up by a pack of wolves. This was in No, I was brought up in a place called Marin County, California.
Oh.
And that is a suburb of San Francisco in California. And I grew up during the civil rights movement. So actually the place that I lived was not necessarily a mix. I'm myself a mixed race. My dad white, my mom black. We were the first mixed or blacks to move into the area. So it was definitely a pioneer experience growing up there in the 60s, because even though the racism was very thick, I mean, it's kind of risen in today's, world again. It was very thick, but it was also where I lived. It was also kind of covert. So it wasn't exactly clear what was going on. But I did grow up in a very beautiful place. The school systems were really good. I ended up in high school going to a private school, not far from where I lived, but almost close to San Francisco. And I just focused on the arts as well as heavy duty academics. I was not a heavy duty academic type, but this school that I went to was an extraordinary school, and it really did prepare me to my next steps, which was literally moving to New York. I moved to New York when I was 19, but in the area that I grew up in, I had a lot of great training. I trained mostly in dance and in acting. I also was a child actor. I got an agent. There was I was very adventurous as a kid, and I really look back and I really embraced that part of me that really just wanted to be with people, as Jared and I were talking about. Like, we're real people persons, and we really enjoy people and being with people and interacting. So that was really my goal. My actual goal was to meet everybody in the world. And I know it sounds nuts, but I wanted to meet, it's actually still my goal in a certain way, and it's actually happening in a certain way. But my goal was to meet everyone in the world. My goal was to be an actress and a humanitarian. So actually these things have kind of mashed together in a way that I don't think I could have imagined before.
All right, so let's slow down for a second. So you grew up in, slow down. So you grew up in you grew up in California.
Right.
Did you have siblings?
Oh, I had 3 brothers. I have 3 brothers. I'm the oldest. I'm the only girl, 3 brothers. I rule the roost. They may have an issue with me saying that, but they know the truth. Okay. and and my brothers, they're very different. One of them, the youngest one, probably looks the most like me, and he's the more artistic one. And my other two brothers, one is a 5-star chef in San Francisco, and the other one, he started out in film production, and he ended up being hired with the Sacramento Police Department. This was literally now decades ago, to film crime scenes. So he does that so brilliantly. Now he retired from there, and he's now moved on to a corporate setting where he doesn't film crime scenes anymore, but he does film corporate stuff. My brothers are very interesting. We were very close when I was younger, but I was also someone that was hardly ever at home. I was either in dance class and acting class. Since I had an agent, I was on a kid show when I was in junior high. And so a lot of my energy was devoted to that, as well as dance. I was in a dance troupe. I was in a dance theater company, so I wasn't really home a lot. And I also spent a lot of time with my friends. I had about 10 best friends growing up at any given time. So I'd spend a lot of time at their houses. I got a lot of joy out of that. I got a lot of joy out of spending time with people. Sometimes it was hard to come home because that's where all of the strife was around where I lived in my area. So a lot of times I wanted to avoid that. It was not an easy childhood by any stretch. And some of those issues got kind of transferred into adult life. So the ongoing learning process with who I am and what's going on inside still continues.
It's like an emotional roller coaster. We're selling tickets until we're gone.
That's right.
Get on board. Let's do this thing.
We're selling tickets until we're gone.
It's the only ride people get off of, and we're not riding that again, man. Don't
ask me.
But in a way, even if I didn't have the issues that started me out in life, I'd still be someone that would be selling tickets until the day I go.
It was one of the things we started a little while ago, my buddy and I. Every time we'd start freaking out, we'd both pretend we grabbed the rail and be like, emotional roller coaster. But that blast would help you like release some demons.
Totally.
Feel a little bit better. So
totally, Jared.
I love it. Emotional roller coaster.
I love your therapeutic style. That's special.
It's very soft and meek and quiet. very, very refined. Like
and no one would notice. No, and nobody would notice.
Very subtle.
He's right.
Under the radar type stuff.
He's learned sign language.
Under the radar type stuff. Exactly.
So your siblings were fairly creative.
Yeah.
You were like the band leaders because you got caught the creative bug and you were going. So you were creative in school. Were you like active in theater and that sort of stuff?
I was active in theater, not necessarily at the school, but independently. I also studied dance, which one of my dreams was to be a dancer. And I thought it was going to happen where I would be in Alvin Ailey, the Alvin Ailey American Dance Center, but I was on scholarship there when I first moved to New York. And I'm telling you something, it's like I had 5 jobs and I was maintaining 5 careers. I mean, it was some of the hardest work I've ever done in my life. But I wanted to be, like I said, an actress. I wanted to be a dancer first, and I wanted it to mold itself into acting. I didn't even know what voiceover was. That I had no idea. And then my soul's kind of being fed on this planet was to be a humanitarian. But, as time went on, I just didn't know how that was going to show up. And I was starting to feel a little sad about it because I knew that it was a big part of me, but there wasn't an outlet for it. It just so happened. And what a surprise was that when my dad passed away from Alzheimer's, that became my way of not just giving back, but also because it's not like I had money to give to Alzheimer's, and it's not like I'm living on Fifth Avenue having, so the only way I could do it was through talent, which to me is even more relevant So I was able to partner with the Alzheimer's. I called them, I introduced myself. I told them my mission when I wrote Secrets of Voiceover Success, that I want to donate all the proceeds there, but that I wanted to tie in Alzheimer's with it. It's definitely a book that is about the emotional aspect of voiceovers, and also things like partnering with your agent, the ups and downs and the roller coaster ride of creating a voiceover career, because certainly one is not handed to you just because you have a microphone and some skills. Like, it's literally something you have to create, and you're creating it from scratch and you're building it from there. So I actually was someone that really thrived in that scenario, because again, I was someone that was very much, no one was interested in me. I didn't fit in. There wasn't a box you can put me into. So it just created this kind of gasoline inside me, where when the opportunity came and voiceovers clicked, because it didn't work in dance quite, and it didn't quite work in acting either, so that I was able to channel all of that into voiceover. And from the get-go, the doors were swinging open. I couldn't believe it, but the doors were swinging open and people were showing up and they wanted to connect with me and they wanted to work with me. I'm telling you, there was a part of me that was looking at this outside myself, amazed.
I don't mean to interrupt, but can I just follow you around for like a week, and every time we bust in the room, I can carry a boombox, then be like, I'm every woman.
Jared, absolutely.
I mean,
I'm with you.
I will wear the outfits. I am ready. I am there. I'll kick in the door. I'll go first.
Coming like the Joker.
Now presenting. Get on your knees, peasant. JOAN BAKER. You may not look her in the eye, fool.
Do not look at her directly. What's wrong with you?
That's right.
Maybe something like that. I mean, we'll wing it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll wing it. I like that. I like that a lot. So my parents, speaking of childhood, so my parents, they were really for me being an actress, because they really got at a young age, that's all I wanted to do was act and dance. Notice I didn't quite say singing, but act and dance. So they knew that and they supported me. And I would have to say that I felt that was very unique, especially for that time period. And I knew it was, because I knew other parents were pushing their kids to be like a doctor, a teacher, something like that, or a stewardess. That was a big one. My parents didn't. They really supported me in the arts. So with all the theatrical things I had started when I was a kid, they supported me. They drove me there. They were very much present in what I was doing and encouraging it to a certain degree. And even when I left New York, I left at 19. And, I look back and go, yeah, that was really young. I didn't have a lot of solid background in what I was doing, because I wasn't prepared for competition.
Had with your parents, how many people don't even get that kind of support?
No, they don't.
That's so special, having that just from your parents, because some people spend their whole lives not knowing anything about how they really feel, and at least you had that emotional, spiritual, almost connection foundation to be able to carry you through.
That made them enlightened parents, because again, I never got, you should be doing this, I want you to be this. They just kind of went with it totally and supported me. They could see that I came alive. I was, on one level, I was very sad growing up, because combating people's issues around me on one level left me very shy and almost cripplingly humble. Like literally, I was humble enough for 7 people or 8 people's lives. Like, so they could see that I really came alive in a way that they probably didn't see normally. So they encouraged that. And so did my brothers. So I was always encouraged to be the great actress or the great dancer, right? But I've always followed my passion. Just maybe my dream didn't come out exactly the way I thought, but what has happened has actually been better than what I thought. And actually my childhood absolutely prepared me for that. Exactly how it showed up.
That's amazing. But speaking of your childhood, there's a time I could think of, I want a time machine and I just want to fly at the first grade teacher, like one of those 8-bit Nintendo games, whoa, across the screen and just one good in the head. That's it.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. That would have worked great, Jared. That would have worked great because it was my first grade teacher that really started the whole thing.
I will go back and choke slam her for you. Without remorse.
Without remorse!
I'll even do the showstopper and do the...
You understand this emotional roller coaster ride would actually be like this after that.
It'd be the first time somebody said, what are you going to do? Sit on him? I'll be like, yes, for 35 minutes.
That emotional roller coaster ride would actually calm down quite a bit if you did that. Quite a bit.
You need Jared around you.
This is personal for me, and I talked to Steven earlier today, and I said, you know what, man, I've been heavy my whole life. And we're personally, I've been heavy my whole life, and I was ostracized for something I could change, and it almost broke me to pieces. So I can't even imagine being you and not being,
and you can't change it.
Ostracized for something you can't even change. How ignorant. Don't get me started.
Don't get us started.
But how ignorant.
That's a whole other show. That's a whole other show. This isn't the show.
You're right. You're right, Stephen. Whole other
listen,
show.
I do have a very important question.
Put it back on.
I have a very important question.
Oh, I'm all ears.
Why did you leave California to go to New York?
You know, it's funny. People do ask me that. Well, it had to do with the way I saw things. So I always wanted to move to New York. And even as a kid, I'm like 5 years old. I always visualized moving to New York. I visualized living in Manhattan. And then I saw the Patty Duke show and I thought, okay, I could live in Brooklyn, but my whole dream was to move to Manhattan. And as I got older, I wanted to move to Manhattan because I knew that New York had serious training. And I seriously wanted to train my acting chops, my dance chops. And then my dream was to become an Alvin Ailey dancer, and that's in New York. And then my dream was to move into New York, to be here, long time. And then at some point when I switched to being an actress, I was going to move to LA. The thing about also being in California was I also wanted kind of a change of weather. It was not as hot as it is in Southern California, Northern California, but I just wanted a change of atmosphere. I literally wanted to move from California and to thrive somewhere else and to learn how to thrive. There was many things from my childhood moving to New York that did not prepare me for New York. So when I first moved here, I was a little bit angry about where I grew up because I thought it didn't prepare me for competition. And that's the biggest thing in New York. You're constantly competing for everything, especially, of course, in show business, but even in other industries. Absolutely. And I felt like it didn't prepare me for that. But I have since changed my mind and felt, that I've channeled all that strife, prepared me to compete. Believe me, it prepared me. So I no longer think that. It's just that when I first moved here.
Yeah.
So, and also I grew up with asthma and I was born with it. It was allergy induced, but it was something that I had to maintain through through pills, asthma pills. And I got allergy shots. So when I moved to New York, I kind of slowly got off my parents' insurance. And then I kind of had to figure out things on my own. I spent the first 10 years in and out of emergency rooms during the month of May, because that's when my asthma would be triggered. It's only in the last 8 years, and this is truly a miracle, that I was able to wean myself off of asthma medication. I no longer take asthma medication. I no longer have, knock on wood, asthma problems, and I have very little allergy problems. So it's like the problems that I got here with, most of them have actually dissipated over time. And you couldn't have told me, especially the asthma, that would dissipate over time. That was just something so ingrained. And you would never know I had asthma, by the way. It's not like I walked around wheezing, or I was a dancer. So I was constantly overcoming things, right? That actually helped me in voiceover, because we're constantly overcoming things, overcoming auditions, overcoming our expectations on things, overcoming the script that's written or whatever it may be. But it's a constant state of overcoming. So again, even that aspect prepared me for voiceover. And all these things showed up right away. But I was very much involved in the arts when I was growing up, and I was very much involved with performing, and I was very much involved with seeing my vision coming to New York and how it was going to be. I just didn't know that my expectation wasn't going to come to pass, because no one could have told me that I wasn't going to be an Alvin Ailey dancer, and no one could have told me that I wasn't going to be a movie star, because those things helped me overcome emotionally my childhood. So it's not like in an ego way, no one could tell me, but it was because those things kind of saved me from insanity.
I get that.
So you get it, right, Jared? I know you get it.
I live it. I live it. This is on the white side for a reason. Padded walls. Put on some hair metal and get in here. Bang your hair.
Therapy.
I do apologize. I might lose my mind.
But right now you can't. You already have the padded room, so you're good.
Good.
We put ourselves in the padded room.
You're good.
We devoid ourselves of the outside world, and we have to.
Ooh, I got a Jared question. What is your favorite comfort food and drink? I must know this.
Oh, good one. Okay. Very simple. A drink, a cocktail, vodka related. So it could be a Cosmo. It could be vodka and a. When I order vodka and cranberry juice, I always order it like, can I have vodka and a dot of cranberry juice?
Coloring. Drop that.
I literally say a dot, because sometimes, depending on bartenders, like sometimes they put way too much cranberry juice. So I always say a dot, so they get it.
Walk around.
Okay, so.
It's so tart. It's so tart. It's ridiculous.
Right. Okay, so vodka and a dot of cranberry juice, and I'd say French fries. I would have said a hamburger and French fries, but I no longer eat hamburger meat. So I'll just leave it at French fries. Maybe I'd say comfort food too would be like a Impossible burger instead of a real burger. But my eating has changed so much. Just going through life and realizing, oh, this doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. Oh, I feel bad when I eat this. So I've kind of eliminated a lot of things, but I've replaced it with things that are like fruit and vegetables, things that had never been in my diet since I grew up. Literally.
I have a hate respect for cabbage I don't understand.
You're right. Exactly. So my diet's changed a lot. So when you say comfort food, it's like, I want to say macaroni and cheese. I want to say sweet potato. I want to say Southern food.
Soul food is so good.
Totally. Like jerk chicken. Like, oh my God.
You have a place down here that does jerk chicken, macaroni and cheese.
What?
Okay, please. No, please. Okay, spare me.
Iones.
And this is in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Stephen, have you been there? Have you been there, Stephen?
To Atlanta?
Well, this place in Atlanta.
No, I haven't been to that place, but I've been to Atlanta for sure.
Oh, where do you live?
That's where I met that guy.
Where do you live?
I live in Maryland. He lives in Atlanta. I met him at VO Atlanta in 2019.
That's it? You guys have seemed like you're soulmates from a very long time.
He's my life partner. I'm a yang to his yang. He's the Twitter to my Yahoo.
You guys are yin and yang.
No, we really are.
You really are yin and yang. It's really amazing.
Like number 10.
So you know what's interesting? It's like Stephen can be there for you to inspire you and to ground you, and you can be there for Stephen to uplift him and crack him up. Crack him up! What a great combo. What a great combo.
No, it works out really well. People enjoy our
chemistry.
Synergy, chemistry, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Phenomenon.
Femininity.
Oh my God.
I'm not illegitimate. I can read.
See, the show can go really south really quick.
All right, Stephen, we need a real question.
I love it.
On the real question.
How did you meet Rudy?
A stripper club? No, I'm kidding. What? I'm a pole dancer too. It's fine.
That's fine. Hey,
He threw money at me. What a better way to meet?
If that's the real story, that's the real story.
Satellite 3, Stardust.
Rudy and I actually met at a job, and I do, like, every year I kind of do an annual post on his birthday because we actually met on his birthday, but we didn't realize it at the moment. But we met on his birthday, where I got hired to voice a campaign for ABC News, and it was the first time they had hired a woman in 8 years.
Very cool.
So when I met him, he greeted me at the elevator of the job I almost missed, because this was a time when there were beepers, like when beepers were just starting. So I didn't have a beeper, but I was always calling my machine at home. And so I had seen a booking at Buchwald. This is what started. I seen a booking at Buchwald, and the booking slip said, it said ABC morning radio. And it was a booking for someone. And I went, ABC Morning America. I said, I'd love to get a job like that. So I immediately went home and I started calling ABC. I didn't know what department I would be, sending my demo to or bringing my demo to. So finally someone said, oh, you want on-air promotion. This is 3 years into my voiceover career. So I went, okay, yes, I want on-air promotion. So I spoke with the secretary there, and I said that I wanted to drop off my demo. And I said, and it just so happens I'll be in your area tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
wink,
I
wink.
do it in person. Mm-hmm. She said, of course. So she met me in the lobby. She took my reel and she said, I'm going to give it to my boss. And he was the one that ran the department. So that was on a Tuesday. On Friday, I called to follow up. And I said to Jane, so I said, did you give my demo reel to your to your creative director? And she said, I did, but he hasn't heard it yet, damn it. She goes, don't worry, he'll hear it. And then 3 hours later, I got a call, which I didn't hear for 2 more hours, but I got a call at 3:00 from Buchwald. They were freaking out. They were like, how did you do this? But you booked a job at ABC News. Like, how did you do it? But Joan, call us and confirm, please call. There must have been 7, 8, 9, 10 messages within the 2 hours of them freaking out.
Call us.
So
make them wait.
I'm at a restaurant. I call my machine. I'm getting all these messages. I see the waiter putting the food down on the table. I literally called my agency, confirmed it, threw the phone down, paid the bill, got my food, jumped into a cab. I told the cab driver, I'm pregnant, hurry! Literally, it was like boom, 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 because we had 25 blocks to go. I get to ABC News. I jump out of the cab. I sign in. I go up the escalator, go into the elevator. The elevator door opens at 5 on the nose, which is when the job was. And there was Rudy with the clipboard. He was like, hey. And I'm like, hi.
Totally not stressed out. This is easy.
No, totally calm. So then we talked a little bit, and then he directed me on the piece. Now, what I was thinking was, because when I saw Rudy there, I actually didn't see any other African-American people, and he was someone that had really long dreads. They were beautiful, by the way, but they were very long dreads. That's just unusual to see that in a corporate setting or in a TV setting. Not today, but then. So I immediately thought, wow, he must be really special. Like, he must be really talented. But I that's all I thought, thank God, because I'm glad other things didn't get in the way. I just focused on the job as he focused on the job. But on his end, people were saying, your girlfriend's coming. He had no idea what they were talking about, because Jane apparently had told, Rudy and her should get together, and then started matchmaking. But I didn't know it and Rudy didn't know it. So when I met Rudy on that very fateful day, it happened to be his birthday. And then ironically, I didn't see him again for a while, but I called him because I wanted to get the spot. to put on my reel. And when he called me back, it happened to be on my birthday, which was October 14th. And then we set up a time to meet. We just wanted to have coffee, and we set that time for October 24th. And then 4 years to that day, we ended up getting married.
Aww. So have you done anything interesting with your life, or had any of it?
Where does it begin?
Can we get something from you, Joan? That's so awesome. That is epic. It's almost like that movie Serendipity, where he's like, I'm going to write my name in a book and throw it in the wild beyond.
No, totally. You guys, I could not have dreamt this up. And as a matter of fact, I couldn't get a date to save my life before. Like, I mean, I had dates, but what I'm saying is nothing serious or nothing that I could count on or nothing that was there that could really be built. I mean, I had my things, yes, but I mean something a little bit more, not just romantic, but something more reliable, something that was more solid. I mean, literally, I went from this, dating. Horrible, 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 horrible. Okay. Horrible, 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 okay. Horrible, horrible. Amazing.
My wife tells the same story.
Are you guys divorced now?
No, but I'm the first horrible. She just keeps going around. Depending on what I'm doing, you're horrible, you're horrible, you're horrible. This is a little better. You're putting in effort. Oh, you cooked breakfast in bed? Amazing! This morning, you're horrible. Where did I put my bra?
So it's storybook, in other words, your storybook.
17 years of marriage. We have fun.
Jared, that is too hysterical.
Life's full of fun.
But you guys, again, you know what it is? I pay my dues whether I want to or not. And then at some point, those dues flourish. That's what happened.
Into that.
That's what happened. And in paying my dues, I don't avoid anything. Like, you know, there's some things you may avoid because it's too painful or too frightening or whatever. I don't know why. And my brothers say to me, you remind me of the movie characters. Like, you always come up with something that leaves you vulnerable, you know.
I find it.
Speaking of Kabam, when we got married in Sausalito, California, and that's the area that I'm from. Not Sausalito, but Marin County. And so at the time, I was the voice of Court TV Network, and Rudy was creative director. And by the way, I had the job before he got there. Don't even try it. So
nice,
Rudy.
So we invited about 100 people from, you know, New York, all over the country, and they came to our wedding. And our wedding was very interesting because we wanted to do a mix of traditional and non-traditional. So one of the things we did non-traditional was that we had African dancers that drummed and danced. So when I went down the aisle, it was like, you know, as opposed to touch, step. Yeah, I was like, So when we
what up?
Got it. No, you're working it. You got it. So when Rudy and I went to California before the wedding, we met with the owner of the group, the one that ran the group. And he didn't speak English very well. He was from Africa. So when we were talking, we were trying to explain how the wedding was and stuff. And I could tell he wasn't understanding, but trying to. So finally at the end, I went, look, I said, I want my wedding to be like, kabam! And he was like, kabam! I was like, kabam! We were going back and forth, right? So he got it from there. So that when the day came that it rained like I had never been in a rainstorm in my life. We were getting married outside, right? That's how we rehearsed it and all that. But because it rained so bad, we couldn't get married on outside. So we had to get married on the inside where we didn't know and we didn't rehearse it. We didn't know anything about it. So they set up all those tables and stuff. And it looked absolutely beautiful, by the way. This was a landmark hotel that no longer is there, but it had been there since the 20s and had gone through a lot. So it had gone through a lot of rebuilding of the materials, but it hadn't been rebuilt since the 40s. So anyway, we're there. Everyone's there. Everyone's excited. The drums are playing. The dancers come out. And then I come out. Now, the mayor of the town officiated the wedding. and he met us in New York. It just so happened. So he was talking about how he met us and blah, 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 and what a couple we are. And he had this binder. And all of a sudden I saw like little droplets, binder on the binder, droplets. And I was like, God. And I was also in a surreal place. Guys, remember, horrible, horrible, horrible. Okay, horrible, right? So I'm kind of in a surreal place about getting married. So Rudy and I were standing together. I see these droplets. I kind of look up and I noticed the ceiling was kind of like this. A beam on the ceiling was like this.
No.
I didn't think anything of it. All I did was I went like this to Rudy and we kind of moved over. It did not compute. He keeps talking. Next thing you know, it's like, boom, boom, cement is falling. The whole beam falls down. And this thing was thick with chicken wire from the 40s. It was no joke. The whole beam fell, or at least partially it fell. It crashed. Everybody screamed and ran. Now, in that time period, it was like a movie. It was like cuts of a movie. I looked over at someone and they were like this. I looked at someone else and they were like, crying, right? To the point where I got to the guy drumming. I looked at him and he looked at me and he went, "Go, man." I got ushered out. They cleaned it up. Everyone came back in. And then I went back down the aisle again. Yes.
Kabam.
I want you to know something. I've never told that story on a podcast. This is the first. Yes. This is the first. You got it new.
That's right, folks. You heard it here first on VO and Stereo. Exclusively with JOAN Baker. Wedding nonsense and almost death.
Wedding danger / nonsense.
Kaboom.
But what was funny was that people afterwards, the sun was out. It was absolutely breathtaking. All the tables were outside.
Nice.
On this beautiful balcony overlooking San Francisco and Marin County. Some people came up to us. They're like, we thought God came in your wedding. And other people like, we thought balloons were going to come out. Your wedding was so unique. We thought that noise, we thought that was orchestra playing. Like, no, some people said, I thought it was the devil. I thought it was God. I thought it was angels.
It was all planned.
It was like, it rained. They had a weak roof. It fell in. That's what happened. But because we're both Rudy and I, kabam! So both Rudy and I work at Court TV. We had a lot of lawyers there. One of them came up to us, or two of them came up to us, and they said, do you want us to take care of this? We were like, okay, because Rudy had talked to them and they were being unreasonable, the hotel. So the lawyers went in and they said, oh, by the way, this is not your wedding gift. So they went in. They dealt with them. They came back out and they said, they're not going to charge you and they're going to refund your deposit. They said, do you want anything else? We're like, no, that would be amazing, because we didn't want to think about our wedding and think about that moment. Like, we didn't want to harp on it so much. So we had the wedding for free.
Very awesome.
And Johnny Cochran, who was my client at the time, he was going to come at the wedding, but something happened, so he couldn't. But had he come, Rudy and I would have owned that damn hotel. I want you to know that. We would have owned it. They would have been so intimidated. We would have owned it. And then...
The Baker Estates.
That's right. And then Rudy gets back to Court TV, and he said he's walking by like a meeting, and his boss said, oh, Rudy's wedding, that's how we can do it. So they put into the trade papers, because they were trying to figure out a way to promote the lawyers on Court TV. So the article started out, it pays to have Court TV lawyers at your wedding. And then they described what happened it was the never-ending wedding story.
Wow.
I'm serious.
I never saw that on HGTV, I'll be honest with you.
And you heard it here on VO in Stereo.
Woo!
No one's heard that before.
That's awesome. We love first-time stories on the show. We love that.
Yes.
I want to know, if you could pick of any superpower in the whole world, what would your superpower be?
You might be surprised if I say this. Observation.
Ooh.
My observation of things. That's my superpower. You know what? I don't know if you know what this means, but I have Mercury, Venus, and Neptune in Scorpio. I don't think it gets more observational.
Aries, warrior of the zodiac.
Oh, really? That's right. And you're the first.
I am.
And Stephen, what are you?
I'm a Scorpio.
We're the best friends who want to punch each other in the face.
So you're Scorpio, so you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. I'm a Libra, but I have Mercury, Venus, and Neptune in Scorpio. So I might as well be a Scorpio. The only reason why you can't tell is because of the Libra. Libras are always very social, very polite. You know, they have like a different exterior. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell. But with all that Scorpio, it's like, I can't help but be observational. I can't help but analyze in a way that's intuitive. I know you know what I'm talking about, Stephen. I know you know.
I do. Painfully so, but
yes. Painfully so. Exactly. Jared, Scorpio, you don't know. It's painfully so, Jared.
I'm on the Stevens end of it. Jared, I was observing that you were being an idiot, and I figured I'd come here and tell you. You know, as the Scorpio I am.
I just want to shine light on this one thing.
Hey, I didn't know if you noticed you were being a complete jackass, but I did this PowerPoint presentation. We can go over it at 12:30.
Let's go over it step by step, shall we?
I have no idea what it's like to deal with Scorpios. No, please continue.
Please continue.
That's epic.
Yes, well, now you're dealing with 3 planets in the 7th house in Scorpio.
Oh, I don't know if you want to mess with this body mass. I got my own gravity.
Put it this way. I'll deal with it. No problem.
Oh, shudders.
Doesn't scare my ass. Okay.
I got scared a long time ago. It jumped on the front of my chest.
Silly.
It hurts to sit down.
Just as long as it doesn't show up on your face, no one will know.
Hope not. My hair got scared and ran away when I had kids.
I didn't even have kids. Mine ran away, so I don't know what my excuse is. Terrible.
Right?
You didn't even have them. They ran away. I hear you.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. I wish I had dreads.
I hear you.
I had dreads. It'd be cool.
I wish I had more important questions, but I just have loved getting to know you, hanging out with you, and goofing off and having fun with you. I
have a serious question. If you really want a serious question, I have a serious question.
Get some serious questions in here.
Okay.
I have a serious question.
I'll take that, Scorpio.
All right. So my serious question is, how did you start the SOVA Awards?
Oh, okay. So SOVAS stands for Society of Voice Arts and Sciences. And actually, it happened organically.
I love
in the sense that Secrets of Voiceover Success I worked on. And again, my motivation had to do with giving back to the community and doing it through talent. And also, I wanted to be able to give something back to Alzheimer's, right? In terms of my dad, in honor of my dad, and anyone else that not only passed away from Alzheimer's, but that was dealing with it themselves. So that's how that started. And then it created book signings. And the book signings, I, of course, wanted the people in the book, or at least as much as possible. And as it turned out, almost everyone wanted to be involved in that way. So it was actually developing a relationship with a different kind of audience, as opposed to a microphone by yourself. We're now dealing with the public. And it was quite a journey. And that particular aspect happened for 4 years straight. I had people like the late Don LaFontaine at every single panel discussion, at every single seminar. So what got created out of the book signings was a panel that I did called Make Millions with Your Voice, which came out of the Learning Annex seminars. I don't know if you have ever heard of that. They don't really do them anymore. They do them online, but they are in Georgia, and they were in Maryland too. But they were all online seminars. I mean, they were all in-person seminars. They would be at hotels. And what happened was I created one based on the book. And they came up with the title, Making Millions with Your Voice. The only reason why us voiceover people thought we could live with that was because altogether we did make millions. So like put it all together, we made millions. So we were okay with the title. But everything with the Learning Annex is make millions making t-shirts, make millions making toast in the morning. So everything had that title, Make Millions with Your Voice. So that became, and the Learning Annex had been around since the 80s. This was already in the mid-20s, right? They told me that it was the most successful seminar out of all the seminars they'd ever done.
Wow.
That was my way of saying goodbye when I heard that, because it had already been 4 years and I had already worked such incredible stuff with them that I thought I could do it better. So Rudy and I created That's Voiceover. And one of the things about That's Voiceover that we thought would be really great was that we had a job at stake, something that people could work for or work towards. So ever since, That's Voiceover always has a job where people are competing for it. But the thing about That's Voiceover is it reveals what goes on behind the scenes. So everything that happens at That's Voiceover, you get to see how it works. So we've created so many other layers to it. And all these layers create, you get to see how it works behind the scenes. So it's a really dynamic, special learning experience that I don't find anywhere else. Not that I was looking anywhere else, but I'm saying that when you reveal what really goes on with the dynamic of pro industry people and voiceover talent, your learning experience is going to change, even if you're a top pro. And that's the kind of feedback we've gotten. So That's Voiceover came about through the Secrets of Voiceover Success. Now, in 2013, Rudy and I decided that we were going to create an award called the Voice Arts Awards. And at that time, it wasn't open for submissions. We were just going to honor someone with it. And the first recipient was Keith David. It was after that we decided to, and when we had on our board, and our consultant person was also a big Emmys person. So he and Rudy and I, we created the background for Society of Voice Arts and Sciences and the Voice Arts Awards. And it's kind of based on the model of the Emmys, because we had the lead person there who was these people that work in award shows are just extraordinary people, because you have to wear so many hats and you have to be so meticulous. And guys, I am not a nerd. So for me to be as meticulous as I am with computer things and all that is still a learning experience. It is not a joy for me. It's not hell either, like it used to be, but it's not a joy. But when I'm working with people like at the Emmys and some of these people that are behind the scenes, their magnitude and knowledge around computers and softwares is out of this world. So we also, in the formatting of the Voice Arts Awards, we have partnered with, like, for example, the company that actually makes the award. We started with the company that actually made the Oscar. This is something that you have to financially invest in. So in order to create the mold for the Voice Arts Awards, we had to financially invest money to create that mold, so that they use that mold every time they create the award. So it's not an award that sits in a garage in New Jersey somewhere collecting dust. It's actually an award that gets created newly every time it's ordered. Wow. Also, Rudy and I have to pay for the awards that are being made for in advance, so that when you do win, by way of jury and judge, and we have over 200 judges all over the world that judge the award, that judge the submissions, right? But once you win, you do have to invest, if you want to, in getting the award, which is a incredible conversation piece. You will have nothing like this in your office or in your home. It is such an incredible work of art unto itself. Truly extraordinary. We really wanted to create a footprint in terms of voice arts. and that people had a way to be acknowledged and to be uplifted for their work, because no one was getting that. That was one of the biggest complaints when I got into voiceover, was constantly in the waiting room at auditions, people were constantly complaining that every other industry connected to voiceover got acknowledged but voice actors. It's like being the low end of the totem pole. So when this started to come out, we started to create this, I was truly thrilled to be someone that was able to uplift what we do and to acknowledge the work that it takes, because God knows it takes a lot of work. But it was also a way, and I backtracked to when I was a kid, that it was also a way to meeting everybody in the world. I'm literally meeting people I would never, ever, ever meet or know their names or know what they did all over the world. And that's actually the part that really satisfies my soul.
You know our dumb faces now, so congratulations.
Now you're in the pot. You're in the melting pot. Right?
I was like, Jared, do you know her? And he's like, no, do you know her? I was like, no, I don't know her. This is going to be interesting. Yeah.
I don't know if she knows what she's going to do, and she knows what's going to get on there. If she knows what she's getting into.
And there's some things that you heard for the first time.
Oh,
no, that's right. That's right.
I love that. See, I love exclusives on our show.
This is an exclusive. Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. So yes, it's actually a layered journey. If you heard Rudy's perspective, your hair would even more be like this, because it is truly intense, you guys. And again, I'm not a computer genius. So a lot of the aspects to the Voice Arts Awards, I'm not even involved with. I'm involved with, in getting the judges, getting the presenters, working on the production aspect of it. Also, I reach out like a PR person to any people that we are going to honor. We have a few honors in the Voice Arts Awards, so I reach out to those people. So, I mean, I do a lot of work. It's just not totally in the way that's computer. And that's where Rudy comes in. And I'm telling you, my mouth drops every single day at the work he does. It takes every bone. I kid you not. This is how much it takes. Like for me personally, I have to book out at least 8 months out of the year, unless it's a job that I already have a client with, but I have to book out because I can't audition, because it takes every bone in my body to do SOVAS. And I also coach, and I coach about 30 people a week. So, how many times is that a day, right?
Yeah,
so I have so much stuff on my plate that I know that it takes every bone to audition, and every script and every potential job you get, you have to put everything into. So I can't do it all. So I end up booking out about 8 months out of the year. So there's not that many months that I can audition and see what I can book. But I do have ongoing clients, and I've had them for years. So I am able to still work and record, but not necessarily new stuff. That takes the small window that I have in order to audition and get new stuff. So I'm grateful for my clients, and I drop everything at the drop of a hat when they need me. But other than that, I'm working on SOVAS, and also I'm coaching. And then I even have to drop that probably in October if the events are November and December. Because it's enormous. And the mental kind of what we go through mentally, especially after it's done, it's like, it's not every time I can go on a vacation, but it's certainly something that I don't take for granted when I do, because the mental relaxation is so needed. It's not a luxury, these vacations. They are absolutely needed, and I end up sleeping most of the time.
Yeah. I try to explain to a lot of people about recharging your core. Those who they're empaths, and we give a lot of ourselves because we truly do take joy in that smile, that interaction. You don't know how many people maybe you have walked away from the edge that they were on their last, that just that little bit of kindness changed around their day. But you have to be careful, because every time you do that, you spend yourself. Yes.
No, it's mandatory. It is mandatory. And I've actually paid the price for not, like last year in 2020. I wish I could have gone on vacation, but mentally it's just like I get insomnia. I get adrenal issues. Like this year, for the first time, I had adrenal fatigue. I don't know if you know what that is. It's not fun.
No.
So it literally takes me something to recuperate. And we're getting older, people. So these things take a little longer now.
Every freaking
We're getting older.
It's terrible.
And it takes a while. And yes, it's definitely takes its toll. But I am able eventually to rejuvenate myself. And then I feel like I am ready to rock.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you do the SOVAS Awards. I remember watching them when they came on last time. And it was great.
Live stream?
Yes.
Yeah, that was last year.
Stream. Yeah, I watched that and I was like, oh, I know who that is. Oh, I know. Hey, look, Mario won. Hey, Mario.
Well, you know what? This year we are going to do it live stream, and we're also doing it in person.
Sweet.
And so we'll have an audience and we'll have an in-person. So, and live stream. So it's going to be in New York City, and it's going to be Sunday, December 19th at the Guggenheim Museum, which has a stunning theater within the museum, all built by Andrew Lloyd Wright, or what's his name? What's his name?
Webber? Andrew Lloyd Webber?
No, he's the conductor, singer, songwriter. No, it's a famous architect. Lloyd Wright.
Frank
Lloyd Wright.
Yes.
He designed the Guggenheim Theater, but he also he designed the theater that we're going to be in. You guys, I kid you not, absolutely stunning.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I want to invite you both.
Plus, it's ridiculously fun to say Guggenheim. When you're bad,
voiceover.
Guggenheim.
Wait, you were such a voiceover.
Did you hear what she said though? She said she wanted to invite Bill to.
Yeah, as my guest.
Well,
my guest.
I will drive there.
But
I will drive there. I will walk there. I will.
Wait, I'll crawl there.
We're gonna do some Peloton.
Yeah, that's right.
Put some wheels on it.
Yeah, that's right. Do the Peloton there. That's hysterical. Yeah. But yes, I want you guys to be there as my guests.
I would love to be there.
That'd be awesome.
And you
coming and being my guest and our guest. And
yes.
This is so surreal for me. I'm like I've been in a kid in a candy store. So please forgive me. I've been like,
no, you guys, I want you to know something. I truly appreciate what you're doing and how you do it. And I appreciate your chemistry. I appreciate that you guys are yin and yang, but you mix it together in such an extraordinary way. And all your interests and all your love for the industry, really, thank you with all my heart for having me and thinking of me and for doing what you do in the industry.
Thank you.
Impeccable, boys. Impeccable.
Very, very much appreciated.
I'm going to make my own trophy.
This started out as a really dumb idea, and then I was like, no, we need to do it. We need to do it bigger. We need to do it bigger. And then this became this. So
I'm happy that I could step in and be bigger.
I am
bigger
happy
for you
too.
guys.
I'm super happy that you joined us. Thank you so much, John.
You're welcome.
If you want to with some any tidbit, and then give us all the places where people can find you and everything that you want to plug in, because now it is plug time. Plug it.
Oh, okay, plug time.
Hit it.
Okay. Well, where you can find me on Facebook, Joan Baker, on Instagram at Joan the Voice, on Twitter at Joan the Voice. Also, there is on Facebook, there is Society of Voice Arts and Sciences. There's also the Voice Arts Awards. Those two have separate pages on Facebook. Also, we're on Twitter as Society of Voice Arts and Voice Arts and the State of VO, which is a Zoomcast that we do live every other Thursday. And I co-host it with Mark Gus, and Rudy is the director and producer, and that happens every other Thursday. So there's also a Twitter page at state_VO. Did you want my phone number too?
Do not get me doing that.
Maybe I wouldn't.
Do not get me doing that.
I may not give that out, but
and I'm also on LinkedIn too, and so is Society of Voice Arts and Sciences.
So lots of places to catch you.
Yeah, and SOVAS.org is our website, and it has a split between Voice Arts Awards and That's Voiceover. And That's Voiceover this year is going to be online. It's going to be a 3-day event from November 19th, 20th, and 21st. And that will all be announced on social media and on our website as we go through the summer. And It will be very special. Thank you, you guys. Just really, I really appreciate you very much. And I love the humor. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We're glad we can make you laugh.
Okay.
I wish I could turn it off. I really do. Because people are like, they always come up to my wife. They're like, you must have the best time. She's like, really? You ever been stuck 24/7 in a comedy club?
Yeah. Don't ask my woman either. She won't have a good answer funny? Either.
Well,
she's like, oh, yeah, it's a great time with Steven. Yes.
I actually have one thing to say. And then
I'm all ears.
Let it go.
I'm all ears.
Not even to you, Miss Joan. I want to talk to the little girl. Little Joan, I just want to tell you thank you for having the courage to do and get through and never let that light go out, because you fighting all that has inspired so many other people, and you've been an absolute lighthouse. And man, to be a living legend is amazing. And your light is something else, and I appreciate you. And thank you for everything you've done. Guys, that's another episode of VO and Stereo. Thanks. It's been fun. See you next time.
You guys are the best. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you.
Right.
Wow.
In scene.
In scene.